You're watching ABC4 News.
Thanks for staying with us. Following mass flight cancellations, Southwest Airlines now facing serious questions from Washington. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Raquel Martin has the latest.
Good evening. Well, today I spoke with the president of the Southwest Airlines Pilots Association. He tells me he welcomes a congressional investigation and calls this widespread meltdown completely avoidable. 3 days after Christmas, and tens of thousands of holiday travelers remain stranded after yet another wave of cancellations from Southwest Airlines.
We've never seen anything like this at any airline ever.
Captain Casey Murray is president of the Southwest Airlines Pilots Association.
We have pilots and flight attendants sleeping in airports. That causes fatigue.
Murray says everyone involved is suffering because for years, Southwest Airlines ignored calls to update decades-old computer software and scheduling systems.
These meltdowns occur regularly at Southwest, and we've been trying to offer solutions. This should never have happened.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg agrees. He's promising to hold the airline accountable and says his agency is working to help impacted customers.
Making sure that anybody whose flight is canceled can get a prompt cash refund, but also making sure that your meals, your hotels, your ground transportation are covered.
Southwest Airlines CEO is promising to uphold those commitments.
We always take care of our customers, and we will lean in and go above and beyond as they would expect us to.
Do you believe that Southwest should take this as a wake-up call?
If they don't, they're not going to survive. They've got to tell the public, they now have to tell the government, and they're going to have to tell their frontline employees exactly what steps they're going to take.
The CEO of Southwest Airlines says he's optimistic flights will be back on track before next week. For now in Washington, Raquel Martin, back to you.
Thank you, Raquel. Well, now to the latest on the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. Police asking the public for any help, saying even a small bit of information that may seem insignificant could help lead them to the killer. Here's ABC's Mola Langi with more.
A new appeal for information to solve the November murders of 4 students from the University of Idaho. The Moscow Police Department put out a renewed call for social media content, pictures, and videos from the community, saying whether you believe it is significant or not, your information might be one of the puzzle pieces that helps solve these murders. Weeks after the deaths, with no word of a major break in the case, members of the community are on edge.
Everybody's doing the best they can under duress. It's really stressful, and we're just waiting, hopefully, every day to hear some good news.
The Moscow police also addressing the latest on that 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra spotted near the scene, saying they have identified over 22,000 vehicles and that whoever was inside may have critical information about the case. Mystery has surrounded the murders of roommates Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, and Zaina Kernodle, as well as Kernodle's boyfriend Ethan Chapin, all stabbed to death inside a house. 2 roommates on the ground floor survived. Police say they are not suspects and likely slept through the attack. Police say they have combed through thousands of leads, but have not announced suspects or persons of interest. Cole Alternator lived in that home on King Road in Moscow during his junior year.
It's definitely an old creaky house. You can't walk up any of the stairs or on any of the floors without everybody in the house knowing it.
The families growing desperate for answers as they face the holidays without their loved ones. Madison Mogan's dad telling the Spokesman Review he remains hopeful. From the very beginning, I've known that people don't get away with these things these days. There's too many things that you can get caught up on, like DNA and videos everywhere. Kaylee Gonsalves' father speaking with ABC just after Thanksgiving.
It's a shame, and everybody wants it to go away, and it needs to go away, but it can only go away when we have justice.
A feeling echoed by those living in Moscow, worried about a killer on the loose.
We need to find this person or persons now.
And the FBI also assisting in this investigation. Police say they've received around 12,000 tips since the November 13th murders. Mola Langi, ABC News, Denver.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Thomas Geboy. Weather rates certified 11 years in a row.
All right, and back here at home, with these storms rolling through, we may not realize just how much has been accumulating, Thomas.
Yep, we've gotten some serious snow up in our mountains, and this is just round 1 of 2 that we're going to see through the New Year's Day weekend. But look at some of these snow totals. Alta over 2 feet of snow at 28 inches. Canyons Village in Park City 21 inches. Powder Mountain at 20. Beaver Mountain and Sundance Sundance, both at 14, so over a foot of snow for most of our resorts across the Beehive State. And then today, really, our valleys got included in this as well, especially in northern Utah. The Bountiful Bench over 4 inches, 3.5 inches for the West Jordan Bench. Duchesne picked up 3 inches, Lehigh 2 inches, and even Cedar City picked up an inch of snow. But where the real winner in this situation is how much precipitation we've seen, or water equivalent. So when the snow melts down, how much water are you left with? Near Timpanogos Cave, over 3.5 inches of water fell from the sky. That's getting locked up in our snowpack. You love to see that because that will eventually run off and down into our streams and reservoirs. Brighton over 2.5 inches of water. Mendon over an inch and three-quarter, or around inch and 1.3 inches. And Beaver over an inch and a quarter. So some great healthy precipitation numbers with round 1 of 2 that we're going to see over the next several days. Things are beginning to wind down just a little bit. We're still seeing some active wet weather in San Juan and Grand counties, but with a northwesterly flow, the snow showers in northern Utah have held on just a little bit longer. So in northern Utah, along the Wasatch Front and Wasatch Back and in the mountains, we're still going to see at least some lingering snow over the next couple of hours before that continues to wind down into the overnight hours. Here's the view in Solitude. Upper in Big Cottonwood Canyon, the snow is falling here. You'll love to see it. We'll take all the snow that we can get. Temperatures are near freezing for most locations along the Wasatch Front. We're even at 32 degrees in Logan, 32 in Provo, 41 in St. George. But along the Wasatch Front, things are going to get a little bit tricky over the next hour or so with that snow out there. In Salt Lake City, with it being 34, you're not going to see the snow stick to the roadways. But where we have those temperatures at freezing and where we're seeing snow, it's going to get quite slick out there rather quickly. In Lehigh, you can actually see some of the snow sticking to the roadways. So I'm going to urge caution as we go throughout tonight and really through first thing tomorrow morning. Just be extra cautious because there will be some slippery conditions out there. Now, as we begin the futurecast throughout tonight, the snow gradually winds down during the overnight hours. And first thing tomorrow, I think our skies go mostly dry. And that leaves us with a brief period of calm skies across the state. But it doesn't last too long because a piece of energy and moisture is going to try to sneak its way into southern Utah by tomorrow afternoon and evening. In the southern 2/3 of the state, we'll have a chance of at least seeing some isolated showers with low elevation rain, high elevation snow. Unlikely that it makes its way into northern Utah. Can't be completely ruled out, but even more energy and even more moisture will be arriving going into our Friday. With colder air in place along the I-15 corridor Friday morning, I think that we're going to start off with mainly snow. So even down in our valleys and the mountains, we're going to be talking about times of snow, but with a southerly flow of wind. By Friday afternoon and Friday evening, we're going to be talking about valley rain and mountain snow as we see those temperatures warm up a little bit, and then mainly valley rain, mountain snow on Saturday, and then we could see it switch all back to snow as we make our way going into Sunday. But because of the expected snow back in our mountains, the National Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch that will be going into effect from the central mountains through the northern mountains, where we could see an additional 1 to 3 feet of snow. This begins late Thursday, ends late Sunday. So again, we got a lot more snow on the way and much more impact that are going to be carrying us through this New Year's Day weekend. As for tomorrow, though, again, we get a brief break in the action, partly cloudy to partly sunny skies. Daytime highs near our seasonal averages, but tonight those overnight lows dropping into the teens and 20s in most locations as St. George drops close to freezing. In St. George, it's a slight chance for wet weather for both Thursday and Friday. With deeper moisture on the way, I think we're going to have a better chance of rain in St. George for both Saturday and Sunday for the New Year's Day weekend. Daytime highs near 50 degrees, and those overnight lows into early next week will drop back close to freezing. And then along the Wasatch Front, we get a slight chance late in the day tomorrow, but then a better chance of snow and rain on Friday. Mainly rain along the Wasatch Front on Saturday, then rain and snow on Sunday. And this active weather might even stick around through the middle of next week. Emily?
All right, Thomas, we will take all of it. Thank you so much.